Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Own Your Essence podcast, where we get to have deep transformational conversations with some of our favorite people. I am your host, April DeMille, and
And I am Stephanie Webb, your
woohoo!
co-host for today.
We
Yay!
have one of our favorite co-hosts on the show today. We have something different in mind. We I like to take these moments where like all of our conversations are always so serious and because life is fucking serious. And today I was like, you know what? Steph, let's go on there and just do some stupid random questions. Nothing prompted, whatever, just like um completely unhinged, funny, whatever that means. Raw, spicy, whatever. So
Let's laugh.
Stephanie has written down 15 questions that I have no clue what she's going to ask me. I have also written down a bunch of questions for her. She has no clue what I'm going to ask her.
Oh
So
no.
we're just going to get to know each other in the most unhinged way possible. And you guys get to fucking share that with us. So let's go. You ready?
I think so.
I think so. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Um, you go first.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your toxic trait that you secretly defend?
Oh, well, there's a few. Um,
Right?
one of them we were just talking about, over-explaining.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I get it because I know the more I share and defend, people get either defensive or they start trying to tell me, oh, but this and this and this. And I still like I have conversations with ChatGPT where I'm like, are you sure I don't need to say this?
Right. Yeah.
So that is one that I don't know if it's toxic exactly. It's just not helpful for me.
I
What's
think it
another
could
one?
come, I think it can kind of come from toxic loops though, like toxic cycles, like from childhood stuff, like where we felt undervalued and we had to over explain or share more for
Well, and my
approval.
dad, my dad always wants specific answers. He's very black and white. So he wants explanations for everything. Like,
Right.
why didn't the bank teller know this information? I'm like, maybe they're new. I was a bank teller. Dude, you're learning on the job.
Yeah.
There's many departments in the bank. Like, and so I always felt like I needed an explanation for my dad
Hmm.
because he gets all like upset. And
Yeah.
I just wanted him to feel better. So I feel like that's where it came from.
Yeah. Right.
But also because I was a people pleaser.
Totally.
I'm still recovering through it. I'm a lot better, but and so it's like people would ask, and I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be like, they're just staring at me, waiting for an answer, and I just blah. I'd give them everything, right? Like fawning. And so I'm like, I have to explain this to you. So just yeah.
Well, and also people that always are like, I deserve a specific 7-page
Oh,
explanation. Like that's just entitlement. Like people just think that that's their way of like kind of controlling the dynamic and
yes.
not really loving that not so accessible to um, appease them. So yeah, that's
Yes. And I like literally have a situation where I was thinking, do I need to explain why I'm not doing this anymore with that person or why and what this and I was like, no, you
mm-mm.
just say like I'm not, because I'm in a different place and what I said yes to last year has changed, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
just life. But part of me was like, there's so many things I could say, but it would just make it worse,
Yeah, because
right?
then
Because you
some
don't need
people
to.
are like, oh, now you just sound like you have excuses instead
Yeah.
of, even if you don't have excuses, right? You're not actually giving excuses. You're just being very thorough with here's why, blah, blah, blah.
And
But
now I am finally finding autonomy for the first time in my life.
mhm,
And it's just like my body's like, nah. And I that ugh comes first. So I'm
yeah,
like, ugh, I don't
yeah,
want to. And then I realize, no, that's just a no.
yeah,
So I don't have to explain why. It's just not for me, right? So
totally, totally, absolutely. Okay.
All right, are you ready for your question?
I'm ready.
What's a completely irrational opinion you will defend forever?
An irrational opinion. Probably all of my opinions are irrational in some degree. I'm trying to think if there's one that stands out.
It's tricky to think of things in the moment.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of anything. I feel like I try to be fairly open about most things because we're always evolving and things are always changing.
And what
So,
is irrational, right?
right. And so
Like
that's subjective
that's
too.
subjective.
It really is. So it's like, is that even
How about an unpopular?
I'll tell you this. I actually had something, I can share something. I had something come up recently, and I actually had to have this discussion with Lee the other day because I had a spirit come in. This was somebody that was well known, um, famous in the public eye, blah, 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 blah. Died traumatically, suddenly, unexpected. And this is also someone that I um, very much did not like, um, based on my own intuitive perceptions. And it didn't matter if I liked them or not. It wasn't like they needed my approval. They don't, nobody does. But I think the way the spirit had handled things throughout their life was very harmful. And that was just the way it was, right? That was the path that the spirit had contracted to, and that was the mission, right? So I'm indifferent about that. But what was strange was I have never, in all my years as a psychic medium, had an understanding that, or my understanding was the spirit crosses over and they go into life review and they go into these other things, right? That's what's happening immediately. Um, and these spirits have never needed our permission to move on. There's none of that stuff that's happening, right? That's such a human filter, if that makes sense. But this one time, this spirit came through, and I was standing in the bathroom, and the spirit came through and was like almost asking for my permission to move on. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, why would you ever? That doesn't even align with anything I've ever known or experienced from my own my own soul team. Like this is not an understanding I have of how the afterlife works. So for me, it was the very first time I'd been presented with something that kind of went against my belief system and anything I'd ever known. And I was kind of having like a moment of cognitive dissonance. And I was like, I don't understand what is happening. And so I'm kind of like in this place now where, I mean, I did understand essentially what was happening. I think that spirits sometimes when they impact people on a mass scale, they have to, part of the review is seeing the accumulative impact. And so
Yes.
the visit was more of I'm observing all the impacts, whether they were direct, indirect, and watered down, ripples and ripples out, right? And so it's more about that as opposed to this person needed my permission. But even still, I was like, this is such a weird experience. I've never had that happen before. So I can say that I don't know if it's necessarily opinion, but it is a belief that I was like, this was my core belief. But now I've had to question that core belief because this came through so differently.
That's fascinating. Like
It
the
was
veil between the
it was
spiritual and the
fucking
human.
weird. It was weird. And it
Because
didn't
if
even
that
happen
person,
that long ago. It was this year. Like it was like within this last year. It was just a weird experience. So I don't know that there's, I don't know. But I still had to go, okay, here's another place where I'm having to expand my comfort zones and open my mind to other possibilities opposed to what I thought I knew.
yes. And
Yeah.
that's what's really cool. Like I grew up in a specific um, sort of cult like religion. And um, it was so like, well, how I was raised anyway within it was so intense and black and white, and it had to be this way.
Yeah.
And then just being open to seeing, wait, what if there's other possibilities? What if there's this and that? it's hard at first, but it's really cool also. And then you're realizing, I don't know, none of us actually know.
Well, that's the thing is
And
like
having
none of
those
us do
experiences.
know. Yeah. And I think we're always evolving, so our understanding does too. I'm
Cool.
crossing this out. Let me see what next question I have for you. I think my question is very similar because it's like, what's a hill that you'll die on that makes no sense? So it's almost similar. It's very
Oh my
similar.
gosh. A hill little Dion.
That makes no sense
Well, once again, what does make no sense?
for sure. Or maybe it's something that you might think is out of the
I
ordinary for someone.
I can say that for what I used to believe did not make any sense.
Okay.
Um, what I know now, what I've experienced, and I'm continuously learning more about and practicing and living is just the whole manifesting belief.
Yeah.
Um, and it sounded so wild to me. I was like, what? That's weird. But I know it's so, and it's simplified out there. I think that's why I was
It's
also
oversimplified out there.
oversimplified.
Yeah.
And it's so much more of just growth and changing and healing and all of that, right? Coming back to yourself
Yeah.
and things move forward. But I kept listening to it and wanting to believe it was true. But then how I was raised, I was like, no, this goes against that.
Yep.
And and then like hearing certain teachers like the channelers and even like Bashar, who's like an alien entity, I was like, I'm not allowed to believe this, but I liked
Yeah.
it.
And like, even if I watch it, now I'm going to go to hell because that's what Christians say.
I was so scared of hell.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah. Yeah.
really a hard thing to come out of. Like, if I don't believe in hell, am I going to go to hell for not believing in hell? I really had to go through with that one. But just the more I live it and the more I experience it and the more I'm just like, oh my God, yes, that this is, I think, everything that I was supposed to even have understood about what I was raised in.
Yeah.
I think this is what they were trying to teach when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
So that's a hill, like, and I can't even explain it, especially in even in the language that I was raised in. I'm like, if I try to explain it sort of in this, but then they won't get it. And but it's just something I'm like, no, this is exactly what I know it to be. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's fair. Okay.
All right. Oh, this one's fun. Well, maybe not fun, but I like it. Um, when was the last time you judged someone instantly and were you right?
Yeah. 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 I judge somebody. I don't even know if it's a judgment as much as that it's just an observation, and there's a lot of intuition wrapped
Me
up in
too.
that, right? And
Well, and that's
actually,
where people get confused because there's
yeah,
judgment, then there's discernment, right?
right. Right, and they are very different, even if they're related, right? And so I did judge someone based on um, some, well, I judged someone and then gave them a chance anyway, to have uh, a connection to me or a space in my life. And then within 6 weeks, they proved me right, and I was like, okay, bye. Like, so it's more about, yeah, I mean, like that happens often. Like I see the reasons um why this wouldn't have worked, and then I go, but because I'm having a human experience and so are you, I will give some grace and maybe you'll prove me wrong. We'll see what happens. Or maybe it's even a combination of I'm not trusting my intuition right away and I want them to prove me wrong. Like maybe it's even a little bit of that mixed in there. Like I want you to prove me wrong, right? So that way it validates my first intuition and how much I fucking ignored it, right? Like maybe I need to be more disciplined there. But instead I dress it up as we're all humans. Let's see what you do here. And then they still prove me wrong. And I'm like, okay, we see what you did here. Like, saw that coming. Can't, can't be mad at I guess I can't be mad at the situation when I'm giving them the space to prove me right, right? So like I guess there's that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that
I
made
find
sense.
I okay, so learning about human design and knowing now, oh my God, finally understanding. Um, I have my authority is emotion. So the
Hmm.
emotional authority. Like my body literally is just like I feel like my gut is just off. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so people would always like, what's wrong with you, Stephanie? Because I wouldn't know what it was. I'd just be like, I don't like that person. And I was kind of
Yeah.
bitchy about it, like
But you didn't even
talking smack
understand or
about
have the
them.
verbiage to explain why. You just knew
Yes.
that you felt resistance in your body.
So people would say, you're judging, blah, blah, blah. And then over time, I'm like, but there's something off about that person. And many people don't see it because obviously, as we see with cult leaders or with even like
Well, and those
famous
people
people
that didn't,
online or famous people, right? Motivational speakers. I see like, oh, you don't like, I'm like, no, they're narcissists or they're this. Like, I'm just like, there's something off about that person and people
yeah,
won't believe you. But it's your discernment that you're just like intuitively, I'm more sensitive to these things,
yeah, yeah.
right?
We're literally programmed that way. Like a lot of us come in programmed that way on purpose. We're supposed to be
Yeah.
human lie detectors. That's
Yes.
quite literally our job. That's how we strip it down to the basics and teach people how to unlearn all the habits. And I mean, that's our job.
And learning how to say it in a way that doesn't sound so bitchy or gossipy or like what I was always accused. I get it, right? Like when you sound angry and people don't get it, they're
Yeah.
just like, you've got a problem. And I didn't know how to explain it. But, anyways,
Okay, next question. If you could read one person's thoughts for 24 hours, who are you picking? Right? That's a hard one. I thought about it too, and I was like, damn, I don't know. I'd want to read anybody's shit for 24 hours.
I, okay, I do.
Sounds
One
miserable.
person. I wouldn't want anybody close to me just because I don't really want to know what they're thinking about me when uh,
That's
I,
fair.
oh my gosh, I will say, and not to get into politics, but the president, because I'd
Really?
be fascinated to know like what's going on in that crazy fucking tiny brain of his. Sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry. Um,
Sorry,
I'd be
not sorry.
curious.
Yeah. You'd be curious, like, what that is for you, like, what that experience looks like for you.
Yeah, like, are
Yeah.
you actually saying stuff you believe or just saying shit to rile people up? I don't know, but it's weird. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah. That's fair. I totally get it. Okay. Your
Oh,
question.
okay. Oh, okay. What's something you've outgrown but still feel guilty about letting go of?
Ooh, that is something I am going through right now, actually. I've outgrown the need to see people's potential. And
Oh,
like I'm not a person that wants to see potential. I don't give a fuck about that. I meet you where I need you to be for me, right? Like I come with a certain level of work and non-negotiables, and this is all the things that make up who I am. And I expect somebody else that's going to be in my life to have that same level of integrity and inner work done. And so potential is something I've become blind to. Wait, what was the rest of the question? Because I feel like there was another answer to that.
something you've outgrown but still feel guilty about
Okay,
letting go of.
here's the guilty part. The
Mm.
guilty part is the habit in me, right? The habit is dying, right? The habit slowly dying. Like here's where I was second guessing, or I was still questioning my worth on these levels, and which is why I was looking at potential as opposed to um, meeting the energy where it needed to be, like the frequency match, right? And so that is something that I'm grieving those versions of myself as they are cycling out of my life.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And you know, I actually, when you said you're outgrowing that,
Hmm.
I wouldn't have even thought of that as something to outgrow. I thought that was something that was a trait that we should be focusing on the potential of people. Because I
I
know when
think
people
that's
saw
why
the
I thought that
potential in
too.
me,
Yeah, I think that's why I thought that too.
interesting.
Right? Is like, there is a part of us that like innately can look at all the options being presented, right? We can say, oh, okay, so I can see why all these different trajectories or personal realities are being presented, and I get to decide which one I'm going to go with. So does that make it potential? Yes, if you decide to settle for one that's really not aligned with what your values are now. Um, and so that's the part where I have to be really honest about I was still entertaining too much potential. And that doesn't always mean it can mean for any circumstance, any job, any connection, any relationship. It really there's no definitive on what that's supposed to look like, but I definitely still am seeing the places where I entertain too much potential as opposed to, and again, it's still because there's a piece of me questioning my worth somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm just gonna have to keep grieving those pieces. And sometimes that can come out as judgment, right? Or snotty or whatever, because I'm wielding the sword even more, right? So sometimes that can come out looking a certain way to people that are committed to misunderstanding who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that this, because I was literally thinking about this even today or yesterday. Because I was thinking of times people saw potential in me and gave me a chance.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, but what if you don't live up to that? And then they saw something in me, but I wasn't at the place to be able to do that yet. Um,
Well, and the thing that they saw in
yeah.
you was really maybe more about what they wanted to see more from themselves, right? It's like a mirror,
Hmm. Fascinating.
right?
But yeah, I get that.
Oh, wait, is it my turn to ask you a
Yes.
question? Oh, okay. Let me see. Hmm, what do we have here? Oh, okay. If I read your energy right now, if I was reading you, what would you not want me to say out loud? Which still puts you on blast either way, right? Like, what would you be like, hey, let's not talk about that? It would, yeah. So, like, you might be like, oh, pass on this question. But, like, if not, like, what would you be like, yeah, let's not put that on blast? There's not something. Is there even something?
I don't even know. Like, not my energy, not my thoughts.
I mean,
Because I think a lot of
it's all kind
crap
of
all
one
the
and the
time.
same.
Um,
It's all the essence of you, right? So, like,
um, I think
it's a tricky
like
question.
lately I've been quite okay. Some days and today is kind of it. Like I said to you earlier, I'm tired, but then when I get on, I'm like it kind of livens me up, right?
Right, like
Talking and stuff.
spunky and fun.
Just kind of like I was grumpy and judging. Like I fucking hate everybody some days. And so I want to be no like I talk about like, I mean, being human.
Because,
Like
like,
that's just a
ew,
human
people.
thing.
Yeah.
But I also talk about like, healing, growth and loving, but also
Yeah.
hating people is a human thing. So I would never like talk down to people when they say that. Because it's just some days you just fucking hate everybody. And
For
so
real. It's like, it's not even a judgment when you hate everybody equally. It's
no, it's
like,
some people more than
yeah,
others. Like
yeah.
I have okay, so um oh my gosh, what's it called? Misophonia, the hatred of sound.
Oh, okay.
So certain people, when like my family, some of them, when they're eating soup or slurping, they slurp, and I just want to punch them in the face. I'm like, why the fuck do you have to slurp? Um,
My daughter does that. My oldest daughter does that same shit. If she's like, here's someone chewing, she'll rip your fucking face off. She does not care.
it's really hard. You get
Yeah.
literal rage within you.
Yeah, she's like that
So
too.
I've learned like deep breath and all that stuff. But there's some days I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Just stop.
So you're like, let's not put on blast how much I want to kill some people at some times. Okay, that's
Yes,
fair.
there you go.
I get it. I totally get it. Okay, that's fair.
Um, oh, this one's fun. What's a belief you had 5 years ago that makes you cringe now?
Oh God. I have one. I have one.
Oh,
I
perfect.
used to be in a place. Well, wait, was it 5 years ago? No, it wasn't
Or
5 years ago.
whatever. 10,
It was a
whatever.
lot longer than that. I'm going to go with this belief, but it was definitely not 5 years ago. It was so much longer ago than that. A belief that I used to have. I'm going to throw this out there. It's like, have you ever heard the term garage psychics? It
No.
sounds judgy. It sounds awful, but it's almost like it's like the psychics that, hold on, I just realized my computer's not charging right now and it needs to be. It's almost like when you have psychics that are super aware of their abilities, but they still have these really fear-based ideas. And there was a time, which is necessary for the growth. Like this is no judgment in that way. It is absolutely necessary for expanding beyond the ego and the fears and all that into enlightenment, like totally normal and human. Um, but I was one of those garage psychics where I had this talent, I had this ability, and I still believed that curses were real. I believed that curses were a thing and that I had a curse on me with all the horrible things that had happened in my life. I was convinced that I had carried a curse from ancestry, something like something had put this cloud over my head and I was cursed for the duration of this entire fucking cunt life, right? I was like convinced. So that is something that I used to believe that I let now I just laugh about it. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
Can I share mine?
Yeah, I want to hear yours.
Okay, so 5 years ago, I was deep in deconstructing evangelicalism. And um I yeah, it was really rough. Oh my God. But I still kind of believe that things like Reiki and psychics were evil
Yep.
and that I did go to a psychic when I was in my mid 20s. And I was in between churches. I was kind of like going through my what did they call it? Backsliding phase. Like I'm
Yeah.
being bad. And I wasn't reading my Bible or praying. So I was just like, I want to go to a psychic because I wanted to see what they would say.
Yeah.
And I remember then I went back to church and I was all like, I'm a good Christian again. And I told one of my pastors that I'd gone, and he goes, did you need to confess that. You need to pray. And I did. I scrubbed it away. I'm like, sorry, God. But you know what? Now that I think about it, and I did see an intuitive a few years ago. It was the most wonderful experience. I felt nothing
Hmm.
like, and especially as I can feel and sense when I'm around certain people,
Hmm.
I'm like, I've had worse experiences with Christians and I don't mean
Yeah.
like generally,
Okay,
it's
well,
just
I do mean it generally, whatever.
okay.
I'm gonna say it like
But in
100%.
church, I've always felt just anxious and everything because of the fakeness of things.
Hmm.
So I can feel when somebody just feels great. So anyway, I'm like, this was wonderful. And
Hmm.
um, but I remember like literal because we're raised that way,
Well, and
right?
that
Like this
comes
is
down to trusting your inner authority. That's literally what that comes down to. Like you could tell
yeah.
in your body what felt safe, and when you're at
Mhm.
churches, what doesn't feel safe, right? Like in when things are not genuine and they're not of authentic nature, it doesn't feel safe.
Yeah. And I could feel that with certain
Yeah.
people in the church. I could feel
Yeah.
like the safety and I'm like, okay, this is a person that's just genuine. But I felt like they were few and far between. And I've been around to Bible college, church, like I've been places. So I was like, I now I can see how I was trying to listen to my body, and I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I love that. Um, oh, it's my turn to ask you, huh?
Yeah.
Also, I'm like looking at the time. We probably have time for a couple more questions, so that's good. Um, oh, this is a cute, fun one. If you got arrested with no explanation, what would your friends assume you did? Super random.
Oh my gosh.
What would they
They
think
would,
you got arrested for? And how the fuck are you even supposed to know what your friends are gonna think? Like, it's a weird question, but whatever.
my friends would be, wait, Steph? What? Ah,
You got
that's
arrested?
weird.
No way.
Yeah.
You
I
breaking the
don't know.
law now?
I was always called Goody Two Shoes. Hmm.
It'd probably be something like really minimal, like maybe you forgot to pay a parking ticket or something. It had to be some glitch in the system, some weird.
Ah, that's really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so hmm, weed is legal here, and so I think our
Okay.
mushrooms are not. I don't know if mushrooms are legal. Maybe
I don't know.
if they weren't legal, I don't know. Try to maybe buy mushrooms because I'd be interested in. And friends have said, Steph, you should try mushrooms. I don't know, but if that is illegal here, which I'm not sure, and I was trying to buy it, probably that. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually saying this
So
on
like
podcast.
purchasing drugs of some sort. Like, I would
But
never.
like good drugs.
Yeah, but I would still like mind altering, mind expansion, whatever. I would still never like be like, Steph got arrested for drugs? No fucking way. You're out of your mind. Like literally,
I know.
that would stop me dead in my tracks to hear.
When I was a teenager, I liked like Nirvana, Eminem, and my friends were like, Steph, church goody two shoes, you like Eminem? And it was like
That's
shocking.
hilarious. That's so funny. Oh my God.
Uh,
Oh, that's a fun
okay.
one.
I have a fun one.
Okay.
Oh, who in your life do you secretly compete with?
Oh, oh God, myself. I'm always competing with myself.
Oh, that's no fun.
Okay, that's fair. That's not a fun one. Okay, let me think. Let me think of a more fun answer than that. Um,
Like one friend that you love, but you also secretly kind of are always in competition with?
God, I don't have anybody that I feel in
No?
competition with. No, like I don't. No, I think my first answer, whether it was fun or not, was the truth. Like probably the truest thing I could have said. Like I'm always in competition with my fucking self, like my own standards and my own delusional ideas of what my life should look like. It's always those bad habits and imposter syndrome and stuff like that that I'm always trying to like um, break those cycles. So it's literally it's just myself, whatever expectations I put out for myself, whether they're
That's the most
reasonable
that's the most
expectations or
mature
not.
answer.
It's
Oh
not
my God,
fun. It's not fun, but it's God, that's like so true.
it's the most mature answer for sure. Because you know when people say you're not supposed to be in competition with anyone else, which is true.
I
Um,
would say
and
if there was, and I don't even know if this is competitive by nature as much as it's like more observant and inspiring. But sometimes Lee and I will have conversations about the way our abilities work. And I'm like, oh, that is so cool how that works for him. So I wouldn't still call it competition, but there's moments when I'd be like, wait, why doesn't mine come through like that? Like I'll question it, right? But I'm still just so inspired and kind of enamored by the way his mediumship works as opposed to like mine. But again, I don't know that that's competition. It's just like, uh, it's more like, wait, that's so cool. I kind of wish I could have an experience like that. I wonder if mine could ever do that, like the way his does. But then that would not make me me because mine works through me the way it's supposed to. So, like,
right.
that's the closest thing I could maybe think of. So,
Mhm.
Lee, if you're watching this, I'm secretly in competition with you,
He'd better be watching this.
right? I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask that fucker too. I'm going to be like, hey, um, Is there anything about any episodes that you want to talk about? And if he has no answer, I'm gonna be like, dude, you're fired.
Oh, that's funny.
He's funny. He cracks me up. Okay. Question. I don't know if I want to do that question because I feel like we kind of already did that. Hmm. What is, no, I feel like you already did this one too. I'm not going to do that one. What's the most useless talent you have? Is there even such a thing as a useless talent?
Well, you know, when people always talked about, I don't know if this is a talent, but not everyone can roll their tongue.
Okay, I can do that too. Yeah.
And, but I can't, I always found it hard to roll my R's.
Oh my God, I
Ugh.
can't do that either, which is why I can't fucking
What?
learn another language.
Right.
I'm like language stupid.
My mom is from Austria and we took German in high school and the R was I was like, "Mom, how do you do that?" And I sang. I used to sing and I studied opera and we would have to sing like Italian and Latin and they're like, "Stephanie, you gotta roll your R's. You're stopping your tongue from the." And I was like, "It's hard." Um,
You're like, my tongue
but
doesn't work like that.
no.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of something like that.
Okay, I love that. Um, okay, my turn, your turn.
This one, okay. Maybe you don't know. Uh, what's one question you hope I don't ask you today?
Oh God. I
You
don't,
said that anything goes.
well, and
It was more
actually,
like me. What am
yeah,
I scared to ask or be asked?
one question that I wouldn't have thought. Oh, actually, there is one question that I'm like, maybe I wouldn't be prepared enough for something like this. But it would be like, if I had to like, if my inner child had to roast me, or like if ChatGPT had to roast me or something like that, I don't know that I would know what to say.
I don't get how anyone can do a roast.
I'm gonna try
I
it.
could
Let's
not
try it.
sit
Let's try it.
there.
That's the question that I would have tried to avoid.
No.
Let's try it. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can roast myself. Um, let's see. It might just be one or two sentences. Let's see what I can do. Um, okay. So, here's April acting like she's a fucking intuitive, cosmic wisdom stardust child and still settling for potential. Um, so that's a good one. Let's see. Um, Here's April firing her guide and then 2 seconds later asking for advice. Trying to think if there's anything else. God, there's so many. I'm probably sure I could sit here and burn myself all day. Um, Here's April trying to be expansive and embody the idea of we are so much more than our bodies. We are these massive, beautiful beings while wearing fake lashes and her hair is falling out. Love that. Love that.
You're good
Um,
with the humor too.
right.
I would
Okay.
just be mean to myself. I don't know how to do that humor thing with the roast. Do you watch those? Like the celebrity roasts?
I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV since like
Oh,
2009. Yeah. Like I'll still watch a movie though. Like I will watch a movie, but I didn't even own a TV until I got rid of TVs in 2009. I didn't own a TV again until 2020, 21. And the only reason why I even owned the TV then, which is the one right behind me actually, um, is because my son and I had we had moved into this house, and I was like, well, my son might need a TV. So I was like, damn, now I have to get a TV. It's like, so it was still not even for me, but I want to say it took me a year or two, and I finally got a Roku, so I could start streaming movies. And so I'll do movies now where I'd even taken a break from the movies. But yeah, I try not to pollute my mind with too much of that stuff.
Mm,
Yeah. So no, I don't watch any stuff like that, but anyway, I'm done roasting myself. I think that's like that those were my attempts.
that was pretty good.
Okay. Okay, so I think let's do this. This could be our last like couple questions. Oh, here's one. Have you ever had a moment where you were like, "Oh my God, did anybody see that?" What was that story? Like an embarrassing moment where you're like, "Oh my God, did
Oh,
anybody see that?"
yeah.
Okay.
Um, well, I can't like recently, I don't know. But oh my God. Okay. And this is even worse because you're a teenager. But and a female, this is what happens to females. So I remember
Oh no.
in well, okay. Well, that's gross,
No,
but
no, no, it's not gross. I'm sitting here. I'm gonna be able to
oh,
relate
sorry.
to this.
Okay,
No,
well,
I'm not
you're sitting
trying.
in class
Yeah.
and you know that you're just like, oh shit, got my period. And then I was always like, let me walk to the bathroom before to make sure it didn't soak out and it was on my skirt. Now, thankfully, I had had gym class that day, so I had shorts to change into, but that was, oh my God, being a teenager was just, and you never know when that thing would pop up. But there was another time I had, I was sitting in class and you're sneezing, and normally you're just like, and it's fine. Well, I put my hands away
Oh
and I had
no.
all this goober all over my hands, and I was like, what the fuck happened?
You're like, I lost my brains on that one. Fuck.
I, but, and I was like, oh, because it was like, it was all over. I'm like, what the hell? It wasn't even a cold or anything. So, or maybe a headache. I don't know. But stuff like that was so embarrassing and
Yeah,
so human. Like, when I think of the things that I was so embarrassed about, it was like, but we've all had these embarrassing moments. We have these horribly embarrassing human moments.
yeah, yeah. I could say that too. I
Or
think
like when you get a wedgie and you're trying to pick your bum and you're out. That
somebody,
was the worst when I lived in Toronto and I had to take the subway. I'd be like, oh my God, these jeans are good. I'm like, where do I go? And it's so uncomfortable. So you can't just like sit like that until like I get to work.
that's hilarious. I've definitely had oh my God, did anybody see that? And I actually think I stood up and was like, holy shit, who saw that? But I've fallen, like face planted so hard
Yeah. Oh,
and been
yeah.
like, oh my God, what just happened? I don't even know what just happened. So I've had
Especially
my
on
moments
ice.
too. Oh
Ice,
God.
you're just like, whoop.
Yeah.
Because you don't, yeah.
Also, another thing I used to be embarrassed about, which is something I'm probably gonna miss a ton, like the day my mom dies, is like my mom, she's such a hippy dippy, like literally born in the 60s. So she is a um, the free child, right? So like no bra, all the things. So she would always go into the stores, like we'd go grocery shopping, and my mom never wore a bra, and she pretty much never wore shoes. So she's in the fucking store barefoot and braless, and I'm like, oh my God, everybody's seeing this. Not like, oh my God, did anyone see that? Oh my God, everybody's seeing this. And I was just like always walking please don't make me look like I'm her child. Like I was so embarrassed of being around my mom in those moments. I was like, oh God, I'm not related to her, please. Um, so I had a lot of shame around being related to her. And now, well, first of all, now my mom actually wears a bra and shoes. Um, and and I know that those are moments that, you know, I will miss dearly one day. Like one day I'm going to be like looking back on those moments and being like laughing and be like, now I wish my mom was here wearing no bra and no shoes. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those moments, but yeah.
But how do you, there's always that no shoes, no shirt, no service.
It's
Did
fucking
you,
Texas. I
oh,
mean, and this was also back like when I want to say in like the 80s and the very early 90s where that wasn't such a rigid rule where it is now, right? This was
yeah.
back when there was a window of transformation happening collectively. And uh, that wasn't something that was um so rigidly instilled. Not yet.
That is one thing that whenever, like, especially my parents, there's something I'm just like, oh, it's embarrassing or like
Yeah.
annoying. I always think of, okay, but you're gonna miss this when they're gone. Like, remember how mom used to slurp her soup? Remember how dad would go
Yep.
on and on? And I remember I'm like trying to live in the moment of like, you will miss this. So just appreciate it now.
Yes and
Um,
no, because I'm never going to miss the fact that my mom was a drug doer and a drug dealer. I'm not
uh,
going to miss that,
mm.
right? Um,
Well, this not the
not right,
things like that,
not things
but
like that, but but there are elements, I guess, and traits of their personality that like still, yeah, like there's moments where you still go, I want to murder them right now, but I know I'm going to laugh about this and miss this later.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, do you have another question?
I could.
That's up to you. I have one that I'm going to ask you and I'm going to answer it too. So
Okay,
we could do that
sure.
or you want to do that? Okay.
Yep.
If there was a theme song that played every time you entered a room, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know enough songs. I don't really listen to music like I used to. And there's a lot of songs out there. Oh my gosh. Well, hmm. There's a song I really love, which I find very encouraging.
Okay.
I'll say that one. You know the song Brave by Sarah Bareilles?
Yep, I
I don't
do.
know if I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Whenever people ask, what's your favorite song? I'm like, oh my God, there's so many songs out there.
Yeah.
I feel like that one because I'm always like stepping into like wanting to grow more and get out of my comfort zone. So every time I do something, I'm like, I'm being brave.
Yeah. I like
Not
that.
not walking into every room, but
It's
I would,
like your
yeah.
it's like your own little cheer squad when you can like play
Yes.
that in your mind and be like, "Hey, I'm being courageous and brave today.
Yes.
I've got my team cheering me on."
Okay.
Yeah. Mine would be you will not know what this is. And most people probably won't. So I'm gonna say it. If you actually ever want to hear it, you might have to Google it. But there is a song, it's a theme song for wrestling, and it's the NWO Wolfpack song. And no, I'm not a fucking wrestling fan, like by any means, whatever. So don't get your hopes up. I'm not a wrestling fan. But this theme song is so fucking fun, and I've always loved it. And so that's what it would be, the NWO Wolfpack theme song.
I do have to write this down so I
Write
can
it
Google
down.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go Google it. You'll probably hear it and be like, that does not even fit the April that I know. But I don't know why. I love that fucking theme song so much. So great.
I love it.
And it's especially stupid because I could give two shits care less about wrestling, like ever, for any reason. But this theme song is just so fun.
That is
So,
funny.
yeah. So, okay.
Yay.
I think that was it. Are we good?
We're good. That was fun.
That was fun. Well, I think we wrote way too many questions down, which is actually nice because I got to skip around. Did you skip around?
I did, yeah. I had
I skipped
15.
around too because I had like 17 written down, so I skipped around.
But mine's on the computer. And then I was like, oh, shoot. I hope I don't forget which one I asked previously because I can't just check it off.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was paper and pen and crossing shit off because I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.